So he set some standards, he set some laws. And so Jesus here in Matthew 22, sometimes I get I lose focus whatever. He's talking about and go off track. But so you just bear with me, but I think at least I said some truth there. But I want to come back to this Matthew 22, 34 to 40, because Jesus says, in response to his lawyer said, what is the greatest commandment in the law? What is the greatest commandment in the law? And I can imagine Jesus smiling because you see, the Pharisee he thought that he was going to trick and trap Jesus because they had like some back in their day some 613 laws that they had outlined, they had taken from Moses, and they kind of itemized them, enumerated them, right? And they were published, and they would tell people that 613 things, you need to make sure to attend to. So he was trying to choose one of them. Which one? And when of course when Jesus chose one, well, what about this one, Jesus? How we humans do each other. We want to kind of trap us into something. Because then Jesus would have been putting what? One law above another law, right? But God gave all of them. So is one any more important than the other? I mean, should we just obey one and neglect the others? So Jesus says this. Jesus says, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy mind, all thy soul, with all thy might. Matthew 22 doesn't mention the might. Luke includes the part about the might. They speak from different perspectives, different levels of detail. There's no conflict or contradiction between them, just that one gives different levels of detail. But the principle, the idea, conclusion is still the same, right? With all that you are, love the Lord thy God. With all that you hope to be, love the Lord thy God first and foremost. Because then Jesus says the second. So there's an order here. There's an order here. This is where people get mixed up, right? There's an order here. God is always to be first. Jesus speaks of this in Matthew 6 as well. Seek you first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added, all the things shall be added unto you. In other words, the good that you need, the good that you righteously desire, right? The good you desire, it shall come to you in due time. It doesn't say it's going to come tomorrow, next week, next year. Some of it might not even arrive until we get to heaven. But the promise is that we shall have the desires of our heart as long as they line up with the will of the Lord. So as we say, kind of what righteous desires. And so then Jesus says, so the second is like unto the first. So that word as is like it denotes a measure of equality. But first is, they're like can't get anything between them. But you still got the first that's on top. You can't invert them now. Some people invert them, and that's what you get mixed up with, right? And even churches invert those two. There's a denomination that just divided. You create another denomination, right? Split into the two different denominations. Millions of people split because some of them inverted the commandment, Matthew 22, 34, 40. They put the second as more important than the first because the second says love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Right? So they divide over homosexuality because they say, well, uh, you know, they love each other. Well, yeah, but Jesus said love God first. And to love God first means you got to reach for God's standard. You don't deny God's standard in order to love another. That's like the adulterer. I love her. Yeah, but what did God say about that? He said, love me first. Okay, I mean, yeah. So you can't love uh, to the extent of violating a standard. You do love it, but you can't touch it. I mean, that's it. Okay, love her, but you can't touch her. You can't break up your home. You can't interfere with her husband, right? Well, love her, but you can't act on that love. You gotta find your own. So don't mess with another man. Um, and so that's what Jesus is saying, right? Um, and so so I kind of capture that in the three statements: love God, love self, love others. Sort of in that order, right? Because you can't love others if you don't first love God. You can't love them in the right way. And you can't even love others if you don't first love yourself. If you hate yourself, you're not going to treat people right. Um, Self-hatred is the worst thing you can have, other than hating God. You I mean, it doesn't make sense to hate yourself. And since you don't hate yourself, you say, well, don't hate others. Um, we don't have no authority to hate anybody. We don't have the authority to hate who God hates. God tells the Israelites, it's really something how people take their inner hate for self and project it on others. Or even if they don't hate themselves, they just hate other people, and so they project it to others. God says, I love Jacob, I hate Esau. But he didn't tell any human to hate Esau. Matter of fact, he told the humans to do this. He said, don't you hate Esau? Whoever Esau might be, people claim this group is Esau today and all that. Oh, maybe it is, maybe not. But God tells you not to hate them. He particularly says that. He says, okay, I hate Esau. But he says to you, do not you hate Esau. Remember, I said God gives us some of his power, some of his authority, but not all of it. He ain't told no person in the world to hate. He ain't told no white man to hate a black man, no black man to hate a white man. That's all the racial stuff, right? He ain't gave you no authority to hate nobody. Nobody, anywhere, at any time. Matter of fact, Jesus clarifies it all when he says, love even your enemies. Now, if that don't set it straight, you're just in denial. You just been a very vindictive, resentful, bitter person because you are not satisfied with your life. And you want to blame your condition on somebody else. Where does that get you? Just talk. Because the bottom line is, in the end, whatever you say ain't gonna mean nothing when judgment day comes. It's all gonna be about what God says. And so I tell black people, you're a fool to make another race make you think you are less than them. And I tell white people the same thing. You're a fool. If you let another race make you think that you are less than them because of their interpretation of what God says, their wrong interpretation, and you let them make you, even if they think they're right, I mean, you're foolish to make them think that one day you're gonna be enslaved by them. Even if it happens. I mean, why would I walk around living my life like, okay, like, so what do they gotta do with me now? That's then, right? I mean, some stuff just foolish. Just pure foolishness, right? People come up with all kind of stuff to make them feel good about themselves. I don't have time for that foolishness, right? I don't need to down somebody else to feel good about Chaurcey. I just don't. I ain't never been that kind of person and never will be that kind of person. I've always had this position in life. I thank God I learned it from the church, from the Bible, from God early in my life. I ain't no better than nobody else. I ain't no worse than nobody else. So, hey, we all try to make it in this world, man. Sometimes we do good, sometimes we do bad. Right? I ain't no worse than you. I don't think I'm any better than you. In certain specific things, I might be better at it than you because that's my gift, right? Some other things you might be better at it than me, but that has nothing to do with my overall being, overall existence. That those areas where I'm weak, I seek to become stronger, and hopefully you do the same thing, right? And so, um, you know, I just kind of want to. So this is like just Chaurcey talk, I'm just talking, and you can call in. I mean, if you want to, you can listen. If nobody listen, I'm just talking to myself. Enjoy my own and making sure I understand. But somebody listen, just one, that's all right. Two or three gathered together. My name, Jesus said. Well, there's physically or virtually. Now, physically, it's better. But we live in a time where people are so disenchanted with people. Man, I've been that way. Sometimes I still think that this is a world that, man, I mean, sometimes you think simple stuff, man. Why can't we just get it? But we are, man, flesh and blood, and the human mind, the human heart, is so easily swayed, not real grounded. We don't have a strong foundation, and we could be so easily swayed by the world, by the things we encounter, because the human mind and even the human heart, to some measure, is just a sponge. It just soaks in whatever it's presented with the most. It's just the way it works, man. That's why it's better to be around and consume positive, truthful things than rather consume a bunch of lies. If all you hear is lies, man, you'll go around just telling lies because you believe the lie is the truth, and it's a big lie, man. I know, man. I've been caught up in stuff like that before. Man, it's like, but we have to recognize that, and life is not, listen, life is not, a bed of roses every day. It's just not. Maybe you arrive, but and usually the people who have it good like that, they're just in their own world. They're not really dealing with societal issues. And that's okay. Not everybody is equipped to deal with um, problems of the world. Some people are content with their own life, and that's fine. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying everybody. Sometimes I want to just do that. Sometimes I just want to go to the pastor. So that's what I'm saying. Go and just build me a little hut out there. My house, another city, or just away from everybody and everything. And just don't even make new friends sometimes. We're not answering knock on the door. I don't know many people down there. Really, nobody yet because I just bought the house. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I just want to do that. I swear I do. But then there's something inside of me. I know I would not be satisfied. I'd be content. I'm not that kind of person. I'm naturally, and that's why I chose computers, I think. So I can see, God has gifted me to observe very quickly, observe things that are right and the things that are wrong, and we have a desire to make things better for everybody. Perhaps it's my humble beginning. So I didn't, my family didn't have much. Um, and so I don't forget that. I'm good. I got much more than my family could dream of when I was growing up. And so, and I took steps to make that happen, and so I could have more. Some mistakes I made that, you know, prevented me from having more, but I'm good, and I thank God. I thank God that I'm good and all of that. Family wise, personal life, kind of messed up. Maybe I'm at the age where I just settle for that. I don't know. We'll see. But got a lot of baggage. People you meet got a lot of baggage. It's my that must be younger women, but that's oh Lord, that generational stuff can be a problem. I'm telling you, 'cause I'm pretty, I'm pretty set, man. I can be flexible, but some stuff, man, like with jewelry on your tongue and stuff. I can't get into that, man. I ain't saying it right or wrong. I'm just saying I can't get into that, man. I just can't. I can't. Men wear earrings, and there's nothing wrong with it because they did it in the Bible, man. It's in the Old Testament. Just read it. I got a article about it on my website, totalifeinsight.com. I mean, they did it, man, but I don't know, man. It's just not my thing, man. I ain't never been, but I ain't never wore jewelry at all, man. The only jewelry I've ever worn, in the days where we had watches for the phone, now it's just I already wear watches no more. It's used the phone. But then when I was married, had a wedding ring on, had a class ring at the high school, but, they didn't last long. It got lost somewhere along the way. But that's it, man. I ain't never, I ain't never wore chains around my neck and bracelets on my arms. I think I had a bracelet one time. Just tried it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think somebody gave it, some woman gave it to me. I wore it for a while. You know, she went away, it went away. I mean, man, back in the you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm just talking, man. I'm just talking, and I'm really not a big talker, but I thought I would do this. We'll talk a little more next time. Talk a little more next time. I don't know how often I'm gonna do this, but I been to a lot of stuff, man. I just acquired some apartment complex property and it's got restored and all that, man. I got a lot to do, but I don't want to get away from the real important, what I consider real important stuff. And so, God bless you, and I'll see you again, hopefully, if the Lord wills. See you next time. It's been Chaurcey Boy presents Total Life Insight Church and Community. And you find me on chaurceyboy.com and links to other platforms, including radio platforms, since this has been broadcast throughout the world. I don't know how many people will listen, but it's something new I'm doing. Video, not just Facebook, but and audio and video. Just wanna, I just want to influence. We the church is called to influence the world, not be influenced by the world. And unfortunately, too much of the church has brought in the things of the world. And we wonder why um, there's a great falling away. Well, because the leaders, um, I think far too often, not all, but far too often, the leaders are content with making the people smile someday. And I think sometimes God is looking down frowning as we're smiling. God is looking down frowning because some of the things that goes on, some things that we support, some things we put up with in the church house. I can't believe that makes God happy. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of His word? You know,